out there, man. The discussion's what it is.
There
The
it is.
discussion's what it is.
Well, we are live, ending
Boom.
video can be downloaded and shared at any time. I think now that I understand how it all works. So there we are. Where's the moderator? Bring the moderator up on the screen, please.
Let's go, Ricardo.
So, with all that being said,
Okay, man.
a lot of times, so the discussion this tonight is about delayed gratification and how it helps you versus instant gratification. We always talk about that we're in an instant or microwave society.
Mm-hmm.
Instant. And so today we're going to have all these gray hairs, except for Jeff,
And no hair.
and no hair, give us some insights on. There was 3 books that are written, so there people do actually write books about this content. Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I was muted. I was going to back up a few steps here. Jeff said he didn't have any gray hair, but I think I've spotted gray hairs, at least on his face.
Yeah, he's handsome.
What we call those are wisdom particles.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I call them they're my experience, knowledge, skills, and experience right here.
That's it, man.
And so I did a little bit of research before our little conference here. And
For a little meeting of the minds.
And came away with 3 books on delayed gratification, along with some summaries and their key takeaways. So what I wanted to do, just for the first book, just so that we can get the ball going, right, is so there was a book that was called The Marshmallow Test. You guys are going to be real familiar with this test. Why Self-Control is the Engine of Success by Walter Mischel. And so listen to the summary of the book, because you've seen this on TV. This book is based on the famous psychological experiment conducted by Walter Mischel in the 1960s. In the experiment, children were given a choice between 1 small reward, a marshmallow, immediately, or 2 rewards if they waited for 15 minutes. The study concluded that the ability to delay gratification predicted greater success later in life, including higher academic achievement, healthy relationships, and emotional resilience. Mischel explains the science behind self-control and how it can be strengthened. So have you seen those link letter things, or even those little shows that have the kids, and they put, there's 2 M&Ms here, but you can't eat them right now. Gotta wait till I come back.
Right.
I was on the kids, and they're like looking at each other like, you get one, I get one, it's sort of kind of like, can we pause the willpower?
Just go for it.
If they have 2, they have 20 more. That's what I would think now. I go, if they got 2, they're gonna have some more. They got to bag somewhere else. But Ernest, get off mute. I want to hear the grayest of the grayest to tell us what you've experienced about delayed gratification in your lifetime.
Delayed gratification was like coitus interruptus.
I'm gonna have to mute my cat.
Keep that out.
This is the boys' club tonight.
What does that mean, Sheldon?
Break it down for the simple folks.
Coitus interruptus is when you're starting to get a nut and the kids walk in on you.
Wait. Let's push the pause button for 1 second. Cut. Can't actually cut this because this is YouTube live. I'll have to go back.
Ernest, can you bring up the rear a little bit here and put it in perspective for us? What does that mean in
If
business?
I bring up the rear, that that
Heck, you just keep on setting them up. You keep setting them up.
he
Keep throwing
just
them alleys, man. Keep throwing them alleys for this.
yeah, you ain't my type, buddy.
All right, go ahead. Ernest, you can mute yourself again and you just listen in. And let's see what these youngsters think about. All right.
Well,
So,
I love this topic. This is a great, for sure.
huh?
I love this topic. Just
Yes.
don't set me up.
No, on a more serious note, okay?
Really? Now? Go ahead.
On a more serious note, delayed gratification. You know what is it? You know what's sitting down there at your destination. You have a destination between point A and point B. Okay? Call it the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, whatever. You know you've got to take certain steps to get to destination B. But that's not your final destination because that is just a refueling spot. Okay? So when you, let's say, let me use something that we're familiar with. Okay? IDCO. 80% commissionable value. Average sale per month is $30 per month, dollar a day for a single account. Do the math. 80% of 30 is $24, right? That's commissionable value, okay? So if I'm at 3% as an ETL, 3% of $24 is
$8. Is that right? $8?
3% of $24 would be
$8.
no, 0.03 times $24 would be about $1.50. So let's do some math here, okay?
Hold on. I got the calculator right here. I get it.
24.03
24 times 0.03.
For you,
72 cents.
for you non-mathematical
Okay,
viewers,
72 cents. Now, that's not a whole lot, but when you build your team, you know it's going to mushroom, okay? So I have to take certain steps. I have to get so many clients to get my own customers to make commissions, let's say off of one product. And let's build a team where they do the same thing. Teach five, each five, teach five, all right? So you've got to have a number
hey,
that you want to get to.
Can we go back to the first conversation?
How much work am I going to have to put into it? All right. So the delayed gratification is going to, let's say the gratification is going to come when you see the achievement of your results, but you know you've got to do so much work to get there.
So in other words, like you were saying when you first started, right? There's pit stops along the journey.
Yeah.
So don't get comfortable at a pit stop thinking that a pit
That's
stop
right.
is the destination. The pit stop is just there for you to get some rest. It's there for you to get some fuel, maybe some snacks, and then hit the road again. Use the restroom, ease yourself, and then get right back on the road because like we keep talking about, the main thing that we could always be doing as people, as individuals, I don't care who's watching, you could be doing this too, is learning and getting better, growing, just
Well,
personal
let's look
development.
at some examples in our life. Look at Presley Swaggerty. Okay. Look at where he's at. Review his history. You want to learn what to do? Talk to Jerry Scribner. Ask him, how did he get from point A to point B? And each step from point B to point C. Talk to your sponsors. Talk to Brian, Greg, and watch what they do. listen to what they tell you. They've already done it. All you got to do is follow suit. Okay.
That's right.
Each
So
one of them, they've taken steps and they've refueled, and now they're at a place. Now you look at the house that Presley is recording from and broadcast. That's not a background. That's his house. You look at that staircase going up behind his desk. That is not a digital wallpaper. That is his house. Okay.
So what does he say about delayed gratification?
He's got the gratification. So what is he doing? He's going out and sharing that with us as he comes to town, how to get there. All right. One of the things that I've learned from getting this delayed gratification is always be closing. Okay. And then what is AIDA? All right.
Attention, interest, desire, and action.
You've got to take somebody's attention. You got to get their attention. Figure out how to get their attention and then get their interest. Okay. And if they say, oh, I'm not interested. What are you talking about? You're not, you don't even know what I'm talking about. How you say you're not interested? All right. All right, boys, got to clean it up. The ladies are in the house. And then you've got to, once that consumer is aware of your product or business opportunity, then you've got to, what's the D? AIDA. Okay, desire. You got to create that desire in them, and then not only do you have to take action, but you got to teach your team how to take action. Once you do that, and if it takes you 24 months or 24 years, there's your delayed gratification. But you got to control yourself, and it's like Rick said, you've got to have some discipline, to delay your gratification. Otherwise, you're just popping off in your hand.
What?
I don't know what that means, but we're gonna move on from
Yeah,
that.
well, yeah, you do know what it means. Okay.
Rodney. So we're not, I went with Ernest because he's got his view on delayed gratification. And I'll go to you next, Rodney. What do you think?
I'm up next. Okay.
We're gonna
So-
celebrate giving our 2 cents. If somebody were to listen to you and you gotta tell them, and they come to you and say, Rodney, how come this thing's not fast enough? It's too slow. What are you gonna tell them?
Okay. So let me give
Ask
you.
them how much work have they done to get there.
Yeah.
What have you done to get where you're at? I've got an answer for that right over here next door. Okay. What have you done to get where you're at? Oh,
Real quick,
I've done nothing.
real quick, Ernest. I think this was Rodney's question. Not to, let's keep a flow. Let's keep a
Okay.
flow.
Yeah,
Let's
I'll
keep it
shut
flow.
the fuck up.
Nah, I want to hear different perspectives, man. That's all I'm saying. I always want to hear you. Don't take yourself off of
Here's
the mic,
Julianne's
man.
mom. See, I had Julianne's mom before.
Rodney, go.
Yeah, go for it, Rodney.
Okay, so here's my.
Who's that?
Oh,
Wait. Hold on. You
Who's
just
that?
pissed my friend off.
You guys are dead.
Really? My mom?
Did I shock somebody's sensibilities?
Way to put your foot in your mouth, asshole.
Oh, did
You're
I
older
just
than
put
I
my
am.
foot in my mouth?
Yeah, exactly. I'm 3 years older than you.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
older than
here
she
you
is.
go.
So
Well, when
whatever.
you invite Ernest to the party, it's going to get a little bouncy.
No, I don't know about that. I
Yeah,
can't handle it.
So in other words, she
Oh.
made it okay.
Anyway, Rodney was saying,
So here's
He's about to eat my
my
other bit because he's about to turn on an air compressor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Here.
parallels and references. So you guys know that I love this beer. It's one of my favorites. As a matter of fact, currently it's my only favorite. So, in order to have weight loss in the way that I want it, I need to delay my gratification to only drink this beer on the weekends and not during the weekdays that I'll lose weight. That's delayed gratification. It's something that I want every single day, but in order to get something bigger and better, I have to delay my gratification. That's all I got, Rick. I don't got any math numbers for you. I don't got any details. It's just basic common sense.
I love it. I love it. So in other words, you want that beer. The beer is good, but there's something better and bigger than the beer that you'd rather sacrifice instead of having that beer every day. You just do it on the weekends.
That's it. You got it, man.
Sacrifice is part of delayed gratification
It's very
from
much.
Rodney's definition. That's a good one. I love it, man. Rick, Mr. Moderator, man, you're up, man. Just keep this party going and flowing.
I'm the moderator.
I know you are.
So to be honest with you, I don't like delayed gratification. I'd rather just go ahead and get it over with, prove it, and then move on to something else. So there's I like to prove that this thing works. And so it, to me, it's more about self-development, personal development, and it ain't so much about the results of the company as much as how much am I changing to do different things. Like we were talking earlier about doing lives for 90 minutes. If a leader, because again, we're trying to coach leaders, if they can't get on for 90 minutes, then do they have the stamina to talk to people, talk in a crowd, do the presentation, do other things, answer questions? But again, it's different for everybody. I just will say that. And I'm trying to remember, because I have no delayed gratification. I go straight for gratification. I go straight to watching TV, watching my movies, drinking my wine, and then I'll make it up tomorrow. But then, so the next day, I worked my butt off this morning. And
so you like quickies.
I like quickies. And I learned a lot about some stuff that I've been hanging on here for a while. So, but so I think, well, go ahead and finish up, Jeff, because I want to go over some of these points that were in this book, and let's see where we match up.
Absolutely. No, the delayed gratification, I think, is kind of what we've all just kind of talked about, summarized. You got to be willing to see the bigger goal. And of course, we all want it as quickly as we can imagine it. We want it to appear like, make a wish, let the genie deliver it to us. That microwave instant gratification is, it's a part of everybody. But I think that's where we say sometimes you got to know the why and understand that it's not going to happen overnight. No matter how beautiful, the plan is to make it happen, it's just not going to happen overnight. So expecting that there's going to be challenges and understanding that's part of the journey, and willing to go through the challenges and the time that it takes to get from that point A to point B and not turn around and go back to point A. You know what I mean? Once you get halfway.
And that brings up a good point, because if your goal, because we never talk about the word goal here, is, what was that BHAG thing, Rodney? BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. Remember that? You have to create something that's so way out there. It can't be something that's easy to get. excuse me. And so but if you do that, then it's always there. You know, if you don't lose focus and get the discipline to continue. But what I wanted to put here, let's pull out some of these top 25 points and tell me what you think about it. This guy said that self-control can predict future success in various life domains: health, wealth, and education. Do you believe that or not? Raise your hands.
Repeat the question one more time, Mr. Moderator, sir.
So in the book, the author says that self-control can predict future success in various life domains like health, wealth, and education. So he's saying here that you predict.
I think self-control could definitely predict those things, but not self-control alone, right? I think it's kind of like when you're making a dish, you have several ingredients to make that dish. And if you miss one of them, then that dish not going to come out right. So it's the same thing. Self-control is a key part of that whole equation, but self-control alone is not the only thing, but it's a component for sure. That's my thoughts on that.
So number two was go ahead.
No, I agree with Jeff. I mean, you can have self-control on a lot of different things, but what? I can see your words on what you're
I
anxious.
always agree with him. Don't you not agree with him sometimes?
No, there's sometimes we don't agree, but yeah.
No.
But no,
Well,
usually we agree on most everything. So yeah, self-control is a key component, but like you said, it's only one thing.
Yeah. So then the number 2 point here was delayed gratification is not an inherent trait. It can be learned and strengthened. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. It's kind of like the example that you gave where we see those kids. If you like, for example, let's use Rodney's example, right? Rodney said, "Hey, look, I have a goal to get down to a certain weight." And it's not about anything else but him hitting that goal to make sure that he feels good that I set out to do this thing, I hit it. So if I hit it by, cutting down my intake for these flights that I love so much, sure, I'm going to miss out on having some flights. But when I say, hey, I hit that goal of getting down to the weight that I wanted to because I came up with this plan, that's going to be a bigger celebration than celebrating and cheersing somebody, right? It's going to have a bigger impact, a bigger value at the end of the day. So that's, that's part of what drives you to keep doing that thing.
Yep.
How about the ability to cool, COOL, emotional triggers helps manage your impulses?
Mm.
Yeah, that's a hard one because it's real easy to be triggered by emotional things, whatever it may be, that cause you to, like if you're having a bad day, so if I'm having a bad day, it's during the middle of the week, and I know that this is going to let me out of that bad day, at least in my mind, I'm thinking that, right? How do you control that emotion of, okay, it's just a bad day. Let me not allow that to pick that bottle up. I'm going to drink lots for the weekend. I'm trying to lower my intake of calories and carbs. That's I can't say that I know the answer to that because it's one that I struggle with.
Repeat that question again, Rick.
So it was about the ability to cool emotional triggers helps manage impulses. And so let me put
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so what I was going to say is that when you become aware of that you're drinking every single day, then all of a sudden you say, I'm drinking every single day because you become aware of it. And I'm only going to drink on the weekends because I'm trying to lose weight. So I think that one of the first things that has to happen is you got to become aware that you're doing this thing and there's something in your head and your body that says, it's 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. I'm gonna grab me a flight. And you have to get out of that cycle because all that is a habit. So if you, I used to, I think I told you the story. I would leave work and go, and on the way to my apartment back in Houston, there was a Ninfa's. It was a Mexican restaurant, and that Ninfa's was good for two things: two margaritas and two fajita tacos, and it was always there.
Mhm.
And it became a habit because you had a long day at work. I'm gonna go spend my $20 anyway. Go get two tacos and two margaritas.
What I think they're talking about is say it. Say that. Ask the question one more time because I think I know it.
So the point is this: that you have the ability to cool your triggers.
Okay.
Cool
So
down your triggers.
what? Here's what I think they mean by that, and I may be off. Maybe you guys can, you know, shed some more light on it. But so, for example, if I'm aware that I'm having a bad day, and I know that that triggers the desire for me to want to drink a flight. My goal is to not drink flights until the weekend, right? To have control of that. So what can I do to cool that trigger? And in some people's cases, they may want to go for a walk. They may want to take a cold shower. They may want to go for a drive in the country. They may want to do all these other things to cool that trigger. And in some people, it may not be drinking a fly. It may be going to the clothing store and buying shoes or
And
this.
and that's absolutely right. And I think that's exactly what I was feeling about that question as well. It's like Rick said, first of all, you got to be aware of what the trigger is itself. And then the minute you start feeling that thing, if the feeling of the thing is, man, I need to grab me a flight, then you need to replace grabbing a flight with something productive that
Right.
gets you closer to your goal ultimately. So if that's going for a walk, right? You don't normally go for a walk, you normally grab a flight. Now you got to trick your brain and tell your brain that, hey, look, this goal is more important. Not trick your brain, but condition your brain that, hey, although I'd rather do this flight, it's not going to serve me for that ultimate goal. And that's instant gratification. Let me put that on the back burner because I'm going for delayed gratification. And let me go ahead and delay this little flight and go for a walk, try something new, change my reaction or my answer to that thing that triggered.
I think that's
So my solution for me was I went a different route home.
Mm.
Go away from drive-by of Ninfa's. It took me like 5 extra minutes, but I got
You
out
got
of
around, you got around the temptation.
I gotta walk around the refrigerator. I gotta go way past the refrigerator.
and okay, so that was good. And then this one number 4, or did you have something else, Rodney?
No, that was it.
So he also says in the book that visualization of rewards makes the wait more bearable. So
Ooh.
visualization, that means that it's in here.
Yeah.
It ain't out.
So I have a great one for that too. This one's gonna sound really, really weird to you guys.
Really, really.
Really, really weird. I have a
Let me,
friend. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let me let you save that for last, so that way the people could hang on to that one.
Okay.
No,
What?
keep going. It's recorded.
No, Jeff's, yeah, go ahead, Jeff. I think
No,
that's
go ahead, Rodney. Go ahead, Rodney, because the
Moderator.
the moderator is not excited about this. He said no. Go ahead, Rodney.
okay.
Tell your story.
So it's funny, and this has been in my mind a lot over the last several years. So I used to play a game online with different people around the world. We all became friends, and there's this one guy. His name is gosh, his name.
X.
Huh? Now he's in Spain.
X.
He's actually a drummer. I'll have to pull him up and show you guys. He's a drummer in Spain for a rock band. and they play huge concerts. So late at night, he would get on this game with us, and we all be playing, and we all developed this great relationship with each other. Well, he used to tease me, right? He would get on, and he would sing in English, broken Spanish in English. Mamas don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, and we would just laugh our asses off, right? Well, he was also good with illustrations, and he could change pictures. This was back before AI, and he put my face on a body one time, a beach body. And he's like, "Is this going to be you in the future?" And I was like, "Bro, that looks great." I'm like, "That looks." I still got the picture somewhere. It was my face with this muscular body and with speedos, and I was like, "Why are you even putting my face on that, man?" He's like, "I just want." But anyways, it's been in my head for a long time. I'm like, "Wait a minute, that looks pretty good." So yeah, to what you said, Rick.
Yeah, visualization.
Visualization, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, man. What I wanted to say was think about a blueprint, right? For a house or a building that's being built. When that blueprint is created, the architect or the designers, the engineers that are putting it together, they're the ones that are putting that blueprint together. And the person who says, "Hey, I want this house," they have that vision already in their mind, and they may not be an architect. So they don't have that design or the measurements or all the lines correct. They know what they want, and they have to communicate that idea. They have to have that idea so vivid in their mind that they communicate it to somebody, and that person's able to put it on paper down to all the measurements and everything on the blueprint. So to think about the fact that all of those creations, all the buildings we see today started with somebody's mind visualizing it, and then it became reality. That's just, proof right there that, if you're not visualizing the future, the success, the results, the activities, the experiences that you want to have in your life, they're probably never going to happen. And let me add to that story, man, because this is a real story. You guys remember when I told you I used to drive all over the Bay Area doing Dare and FW1 wax events all over the place? I kid you not. I remember like it was yesterday. This one day was like my first time driving to Napa Valley by myself. And I remember driving down through Napa. I remember the road. I was on 29. I was going to a Safeway in Napa. And I just remember telling myself, man, this is such a beautiful area. It'll be nice to live here one day, right? And this was years before I came to Napa. And I remember just the feeling that I had talking about visualization. I was there driving my car. It wasn't like me thinking about it. I was in my car just soaking in this drive and how beautiful the day was. And in my mind, it was just, this is a perfect day, perfect city. Man, how awesome would it be to live here, right? One day, just keep working hard. That's what I remember telling myself. One day, if you really want it, you can have this. Like, just keep working hard. And here I am now in St. Helena, which is sort of like a little step up, if you will, from Napa. And I lived in Napa before I moved to St. Helena. So when you think about visualization and having goals, those things are real if you actually put the work and the time, and you can delay the gratification of getting here. Just set the goal.
Very good.
I was going to share a picture, but I can't find it. So, not the picture, but a
Let's
different
keep
one.
moving along.
Well,
And Julianne, can you give your body picture to Rodney so he can put his face on it?
What'd you say?
it don't fit, Rick. That doesn't work. I mean,
Can I?
he's a half dude, but that still doesn't work.
What? No. What? What?
Said that one of his friends put a picture on a body double. Who's that? Cousin?
That's her son.
So go back to talking about
Now,
children.
what'd you say? Damn it!
Are you here or are you there?
I don't know.
She's
Maybe it's my alter ego here. I don't know.
she's everywhere.
So
Everybody.
we're talking about visualization. And Rodney had a friend who put Rodney's face on top of a bodybuilder. And he asked Rodney, is this going to be you in a few years? And we were just talking about visualization. And so
That's some kind of visualization, I guess.
and so I said,
Hold on, Rick. Let me give you an example. Hold on.
if you want a hard body, put
No,
put
I'm gonna give you.
face on top of.
I'm gonna give you an example of my future. Oh shit!
You want Mike Brady?
I'm gonna
Oh
give
my
you.
God. Dude, flash number 2 running around behind me. There's
Alright,
one and then the other, and there's one and then the other. Oh my God.
hey, Rick, here's an example of my future legs, just so you know. That's not it.
I don't care who you are. That's funny.
That's my legs of the future, y'all.
Oh my
Snap,
God.
crackle, and pop.
You want to see that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. That's some kind of, this doesn't look real.
So why would you say that that's your future?
I'm kidding. That was a joke. Let me find the real one. Hold on.
Mhm.
Keep
You
going
said,
with your questions. We'll come back to this.
why would you say that?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
show you my calves. But while he's doing that, it also says here that children distraction strategies
Yeah.
and
Bring all of us up here and just keep going.
I have to
sorry, YouTube, we got, we should have just had by invitation only.
commuter.
Ah,
Okay, I mean,
So
you're good.
no. So Julianne, go ahead and tell us who's that? Is that your cousin, friend, sister, neighbor, what? Julianne, you're on mute.
yeah, involuntarily. I was muted.
So
So
is that your cousin, your
no,
friend?
she was the maid of honor in my wedding. That's my crazy one, and her crazy one's over here, right there.
He's a chicken.
He's the chicken.
Norty, what's this coming for me?
Oh my God. They they've only met each other not what 4 times?
4 times.
4 times, and they're like
Two people in the five.
they're inseparable when we're here in Lawrence. So
Hey, so since you have them there, let's do an experiment.
oh boy,
My friend.
oh boy,
Two marshmallow experiment.
a what experiment?
A two marshmallow experiment. Sit them down at the table.
Okay,
Two candies. And tell them that they can't eat the candies.
tell them they can't eat the can. Okay, set them at a table. Tell them now. This is I know you don't know Rick, but I don't know what it. I mean, well, he said marshmallows, then he said candies.
Marshmallows. And
Marshmallows.
right, marshmallows. And we want to see if they can make it 15 minutes.
No.
And they delay their gratification.
Oh God, shut up.
Dude, who invites these people? Why do we even have these lives? Come on. Okay, go ahead. Next.
I guess you're just
Yeah. Yeah, go back to
whatever.
reader. It says here that the book says that self-control skills are as important as IQ for success. Do you guys agree with that? Self-control skills.
Self-control.
Oh, self-control.
Maybe you might
Oh, IQ.
actually be a long jumper.
Mute. There you go. So 7 and 8, where self-control skills are as important as IQ for success. Self-regulation failures often lead to long-term regret.
Self-control is important, man. It's just like self-control is almost like delayed gratification in a sense, you know? You have to be able to realize the difference between the instant gratification and the delayed gratification and say, you know what? I'm gonna exercise self-control and wait 15 minutes, you know? Self-control is it's another piece of the puzzle, I think, to just become a better, person in life with anything that you're doing, just having self-control. Because there's a time for everything.
Well, this next point I think is going to hit home because impulse control helps in building financial security. Impulse control means I'm not going to buy that new car.
Yep.
I'm not going to go. We're not going to go and spend $100 on something that we didn't need to spend the money on.
Right.
So how does that? So that I
Now
think
that
that was a statement.
Yeah, I think that's accurate too. That's on point. And we're all guilty of this to a certain extent, it's just that, guilty pleasure thing, right? And I do it all the time. I find myself sometimes in a situation where I'm like, dude, I look up and I'm like, Jeff, you need not one more pair of shoes. You don't need not one more pair of you don't need another hoodie. You don't need another whatever. And then as soon as I see one that I'm like, ooh, that's a nice one. Like I really like that one, and I'm like, it's only we start justifying, it's only 20. Matter of fact, it's on sale. They got the 50%. I mean, you work hard, you might as well give it to yourself, right? But you really
So
don't need it.
It ain't
and
gonna
so
be
right
around.
here,
It's not gonna
huh?
be around. It's not gonna be around for long. So I don't take advantage
Yeah,
of the.
I need to get it because somebody else is going to get it. But I want to pause right here real quick because there was a book that I read that wasn't one of these three books, and it talked about the very first thing is you got to become aware of how you're thinking about things. But then you got to, and it's the acronym ACT, awareness, and then choice is the C.
Mm.
You got to become aware. There's a decision coming up. Do I do that or do I not do it? And you got to make that choice, right? And then you got to trust that you made the right choice. When you say, no, I want to not go and buy that $100 whatever, because
Mhm.
that's going to go against my debt, or that's going to go to my investment account. And you just got to trust that that was the best, that this is the best decision. And that's what all this is reminding me of.
What was the A?
Awareness.
Awareness? Okay.
I mean, awareness is big in everything
All
because
right. You got to be
you have,
aware that there's a decision to be made.
you have to know that there's food going to be coming to you. There's going to be alcohol coming to you. There's going to be women coming towards you. And you have to, what? And so, yeah, you just got to be aware of all the things that can,
Control.
yeah, that can then make you fall,
Mhm. Stumble.
humble.
You up a
Uh,
little bit.
Number 11 says self-discipline requires removing or minimizing temptations. So to me, my self-discipline was when I took that longer road home, I was minimizing my temptations. And then after a while, I just became, I don't want to go, I didn't want to have that headache in the morning. I didn't want to have that margarita taste in my mouth. So that was, and then number 12 says small, consistent choices compound into long-term benefits. I think that's where Darren Hardy wrote that book. Remember what was his name of his book? And then
Compound effect.
the compound effect. Yeah, so Darren Hardy had the compound effect book. It says 13 was training self-control in one area often improves control in other areas. So you can start with one thing and get that under control. And then once you figured out ways to get that under control, you can apply the same method to something else.
Absolutely. It's just transferring the knowledge.
And then again, having a why strengthens your ability to delay gratification.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people see that in houses, because you'll see couples and they'll say, no, let's not get that because that could be part of our money that goes to the down payment on a house. Do this because that could be part of the down payment that goes to the house. So,
Yeah.
and again, we're not born with that muscle. We have a muscle called, choice. And if, well, like when we were babies, they would just give us bottles and give us food and anything to keep us quiet. And so it was instant gratification. And that's where
Right.
we were. Role models influence self-discipline through social observation. I used to know a couple of guys that when I would consider them, they're about my age, but they're advanced in this education way further. And I could see them, how they were more professional than I was, because I was still, a high school grad, and I just would do the goofball stuff. But when you have that group of people around you, it starts making you think about not being a goofball.
Elevate your thinking if you're around people who are already thinking on a higher level. Start to elevate your mindset, your activity. If you see people that are doing things that you're not doing and they're having the results that you want, and you're saying, hey, I could do those things too. They just decided that they were going to do those things because they wanted those results. They didn't just want to wish for those results. All right.
Yes, sir. Again, we talked about role models influence self-discipline through social observation. And that just means that somebody you respect, if you had Presley Swigert in your life every day and he observed you doing things that you wouldn't do them because you wanted to, respect him and his, his coaching or whatever. And so you wouldn't go against what he was trying to teach you and do a bad habit. Who's Megan Dambro? Is this another one of y'all's people? No, I don't know. Physical habits like exercise and sleep impact emotional regulation. So again, if you're Megan, you joined the team.
He's like, shut up, Rich. Jules won't leave me the hell alone about it, so no.
Oh, anyway, I don't know what they're doing, but anyway, children from unstable environments may show less patience. Children from unstable environments.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I don't know if that's 100% true. It could be. I think people from stable environments could have the same outcome. You know what I mean?
They could because their
But
exterior
what
could affect that as well, right? So their home environment could be one way, but everywhere else could be a different way. Now, for me, I'm glad this is a good topic. For me, when I was growing up, my home environment caused me to become an impatient person for the most part.
Medicated person?
Impatient.
Well, medicated, if you look at it that way, I suppose. But
so we're getting toward the end here.
We're both because Jeff's right, because it's if you don't have just your personal environment within your home could be the one that would be the type that would instill the importance of delayed gratification. But your external environment sometimes, when you're outside of the home, could push you to be.
You don't have that self-control. Right?
Yeah.
So somebody could have good home structure and still go out and get influenced.
Well, number 23 sounds a lot like our challenges. Commitment devices like no spend challenges build impulse resistance. So when you do the challenges of the social media stuff, the postings and interactions and engagements, I think that does help a person, because like they say, it's easy to do something social media wise, or a post or whatever, and it's easy not to do. And so a challenge helps you overcome that.
Yeah, and it gets you in a routine.
Yeah, and it gets you in a routine.
Builds the muscles.
That's all you're trying to do, is you trying to replace an old routine with a new routine.
A new productive one that serves you. Absolutely.
It's funny, earlier, Rick, you said that you have to, what was it we were talking about? Because this kind of comes full circle. You said creating a goal or a vision has to be something so big it sounds stupid.
A BHAG, BHAG.
What does it say it again?
BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal.
Big, hairy, audacious goal. So one of my personal BHAGs is to take our challenge and make it impactful for lots and lots and lots and lots of people from all of our various skill sets. Not just Jules's ability to help people get healthy, but maybe Jeff's ability to help people overcome speaking in public settings, or my ability to whatever, I don't even know what my ability is, or your ability, Rick, to study really, really hard. Or Ernest's ability to find out details, get to some specifics, create a structured game.
Me the comic relief.
Yeah, comic,
comic relief. Yeah, there you go.
But that's one of my bigger visions with the challenge, to get it that big.
So there's two more, and we'll get those out of the way so that we can wrap up this section of this book. Setting clear rules reduces decision fatigue and increases consistency. So setting boundaries and setting clear rules reduces the decision fatigue. And then the last one, delayed gratification, strengthens goal achievement and improves mental resilience.
Yep. Those are both true. What was the first one you said, though?
Setting clear rules reduces decision fatigue and increases consistency.
Boom. So remember, we just talked about that earlier today, Rick. 60-day, 90-day. You set it up in one day, and then you don't have to think about it for 90 days because you took one day to just put it all together. So now you just go look at it. Oh, no decision to make about what should I talk about. It's already there on the schedule. Just go talk about it. Talk about it and move on to the next day.
And that's just it. When you get tired of decisions, when you get tired of making decisions, then that means it's just like with a baby. If they get cranky, they can be beautiful babies all day long, but then all of a sudden they're gonna get cranky. All right, you need to get your ass to bed. You're gonna take a nap because you got fatigue, you got decision fatigue. You're acting crazy. Take a nap, relax, and that's what the same thing with us at a higher scale.
You have to have a system thing to do when that baby gets cranky. We got to check its diaper. We got to check its food. And then it's, okay, those things are good. Take your butt to sleep. Go lay down.
And then the last one is delayed gratification strengthens goal achievement and improves mental resilience. And to me, the word, the big word, the big dollar word in that last sentence is resilience. We are resilient people. You can put something in front of us that's a problem, and either you're going to fall because you're not resilient enough that you're going to let it overcome you, or you're going to keep trying to figure out how to fix that issue, how to get around it. And so that's, to me, mental resilience talks a lot about that, is that from what I've read and what I experienced was that we don't let failures deter us from a chosen path. And so that's mental resilience, because it's really easy to say, you know what, screw all this shit. I'm gonna just go back to having a job. I'm gonna eat out. I'm gonna go buy a whole bunch of pork and beans, and I'm gonna eat out of a can. And that's it.
It'd be okay. I'll survive. You know, who needs all of this stuff anyway? You know, and
Yeah.
that's where, we talk about, have you become comfortable and settled, or have you really got, have you gotten everything that you want and need, and you're full, you're content, right? So a lot of people, I think that's exact what you described is what they do. Some people go work for Uber, DoorDash, Instacart, not because they don't know any better or they're not smarter, but they've just settled for the fact that, hey, look, I can go drive and I'll get a paycheck for picking up some people and dropping them off. They know that's not really the ultimate, like Ernest was saying, it's not the destination. This is a pit stop, really, to just kind of get some snacks, rest up, maybe use the restroom, but you're still going. But some people, they start Instacart, Uber, DoorDash because it's a bridge to get to, and then 5 years later, 7 years later,
They're
they're
still
still
there.
doing Uber, and they got comfortable there because, like you said, man, I can eat some pork and beans out of a can and it's okay. I've been doing it for 7 years. I mean,
Well, no, and so the whole point is that the ultimate example of not having delayed gratification is sticking with that Uber job. Oh, I might have a $30 run here in a minute, or I might have something that's going to pay more in a minute. I might have something. The next ding is going to be the Las Cruces run, or the next ding is going to be a bigger run, right? And so you never leave that zone, and then you get in trouble because you haven't been sharpening your skills, you haven't been,
paying attention to other
opportunity.
opportunities, having conversations with people that are doing different things, expanding your mind and seeing what else is out there, being aware.
So anyway, so that was just the first book from the marshmallow test. And we talked a lot about why self-control is the engine of success. I think we all can agree that, yes, we need to develop some self-control to, one, set appointments, show the plan, and plug into meetings. Because that's a discipline that works for this business. That no matter where you're at, we got to be doing personal development. We got to be prospecting. We got to be doing the simple things that they talk about and they've told us about for years. And so once you become aware of that formula, then you got to teach that to your people. Because they're going to be just as wild and looking at different things like everybody else is, but now we're more focused. At this point in our lives, we're focused. We're more focused. And so I think this is book number one. And I think that would be a great place to stop for book number one, because it is a Saturday night.
Absolutely. We could pick this up same time next week, go into book number 2. For those that are watching, if you want to jump in, have a discussion with us, give your 2 cents on what we're talking about, or $2, not 2 cents. This is worth $2. Bring it in, man. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
The more the merrier.
And Rodney, does this go to your YouTube channel? We got to plug your channel and say subscribe and like this video. Click the little bell button so you know that next time that we put a video out here, it's going to be
what we need to figure out is how to multiple stream it to everybody's YouTube at the same time. I think it's probably possible. We just got to figure out how to do it. Right. So
okay. I'm gonna go have some drinks with Julianne and Megan. Y'all can go. I know. She's like, what do you say? What do you say?
No. Oh, I was allowed to unmute for 5 seconds. Gee, thanks.
That's Rodney.
I'm using her.
Somebody muted her.
You're muted again. You're back. Sorry.
You're such
Sorry,
an
you're
asshole.
muted again.
Oh, don't be.
So did you hear your name?
I did. Yeah. Wait, will you finish what you say to when you talk to her as opposed to me? You wouldn't tell me.
I don't know, but right now, because her name's on your Zoom thing, right? And these guys, we're wrapping up.
It's her computer, genius.
I know. We're wrapping up. we're wrapping up our little Zoom call, and I told these guys, see y'all later. I'm gonna go have a drink with Megan and Julianne.
Yeah.
And these guys, well, we don't want to go. I go, get your ass out of here. Come on, get out. You know, like George Strait says, get your ass out of here.
You're all
Okay.
welcome. Oh Lord.
Come on, get your ass out of here. Pure country. You gotta watch that movie.
You're becoming her friend real quickly. Let me tell you.
Or what?
I said I'm being a smartass. I said you're becoming her friend real quickly. You already thought she was my her mom. Yeah. Now you're trying to get out of here.
So now you don't like George Strait? Yeah.
Yeah. Now I see. Now I don't even like George Strait. Oh, there was a kick in the you know what.
Those mans are blue.
No, any woman that
What?
doesn't like George Strait. I mean, unless you're not a woman, but that's okay.
Oh, you're well. Yeah, don't put it past her to. I told her she's got to. I don't need to waste my
What are
time.
you drinking? What'd she say? What'd she say?
What?
What did she say?
She doesn't need
I said I don't need to waste my time. Thank you for repeating that. No, I told you.
I was first off, I was being
Wait, what? What are we
I
saying?
was being polite.
Oh, really?
To
Julianne's feeding me a bunch of mean rhetoric over here. Yeah, rhetoric.
she's probably telling you what to say. Yeah, say this, say this.
Oh my God. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And you see, this is what I have to put up with every Friday night. If it ain't her, it's Steve Yehu.
I've been friends with her for over 20 years. I get it.
You
ain't gonna tell her anything she didn't already know.
Yeah, first of all, Rick, you don't show up every Friday night. So
Because I'm trying to put up some barriers, you know. I'm like hanging out with you guys. I shoot myself sometimes. I mean, I'm like, God dang. If you haven't noticed,
that too.
yeah,
That
because they start talking shit that's like, what the hell does that mean? And what does that have to do with the price of gold and rice in China? Get back on topic.
God. Okay.
Anyway.
No wonder you scare him off, Rick.
No, they're always around.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah. But you're doing this. You're doing this. I want you to do this.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go.
Whitney.
Yeah, whatever. Ain't no controlling this mess.
You can be
Train wreck.
baby shark. Baby shark.
Oh God. I don't know how that ever got so
So when are
popular.
you going home? When are you going to Florida?
So annoying. Monday. Dude, the high here on Monday, 13 degrees.
It's going to be cold even in El Paso.
I don't even know if I'll be able to fly out because it's about